It's that time of the year when the NFL honors this year's best accomplishments by players and coaches. But who from among the nominees should be going home with a trophy, and who stayed home after getting snubbed? Well, let's start off with an easy one. The AP Defensive Rookie of the Year. 3 nominees in this category, and they are Tariq Woolen, cornerback of the Seattle Seahawks, who had a monster year picking up a Pro Bowl selection. He played in all 17 games and had 6 interceptions, one of which went for a touchdown. He forced 3 fumbles and had a total of 16 pass deflections. So it should be noted that Woolen was the 153rd pick overall in the 2022 NFL Draft. So for him to have this kind of performance is worthy of praise and highlights just how good the Seahawks drafted. The second nominee, Aiden Hutchinson of the Detroit Lions, who was the 2nd overall pick and produced a number that stunned the pundits. The defensive end also played in all 17 games, where he had a total of 9.5 sacks, 52 combined tackles, and 3 interceptions. It is incredible that this player, forgetting the fact that he was a rookie, was able to pick off the quarterback 3 times this season in that defensive position. Just absolutely remarkable. And the final nominee, who is also the favorite amongst the public to win, is a cornerback for the New York Jets, Ahmad Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner, as he likes to be known, also played in every single game and had 2 interceptions this season, but the stat that stands out is his completion percentage, where receivers only had a 53.5% success rate of catching the ball when Sauce was on them. So the real reason why voters will award Sauce the title is because of his impact on the Jets. The true winner should be Aiden Hutchinson because he performed miracles on a terrible defense. And if there were to be a snubbed member from this category, it would have to be Kayvon Thibodeau, who despite playing 3 games fewer due to injury, was the main catalyst behind helping the New York Giants defensively, and he did help his team earn a playoff victory, which the others did not. Now on to the comeback player of the season, and the nominees are running back Saquon Barkley of the New York Giants, who went from having 593 rushing yards from 162 attempts in 13 games in 2021 to 1,312 rushing yards from 295 rushing attempts. He also had 8 more touchdowns on the ground and was the driving force, at least in the first half of the season, for the Giants. The next nominee is another running back in Christian McCaffrey, who also bounced back after an injury-riddled season and went from having 442 yards in 7 games to 1,139 yards from 17. The key stat is that he played all the games this season, something that McCaffrey has not done since 2019. And the final nominee is Geno Smith. So how can you not give this award to Geno Smith, who posted career-high numbers in every single category? The quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks won the job in training camp and proved his doubters wrong from week 1 onwards, leading his team to an unexpected playoff berth. His numbers, as we said, career high in pass completion percentage of 69.8%, a career high in passing yards, 4,282, and a career high in touchdowns with 30. Geno is the clear winner and deserving recipient of the award, but if someone else were to feel left out, it might be Jared Goff, who bounced back from a mediocre season in 2021 and looked like an outstanding player who knew how to manage games. Proof? He had a few interceptions this season with 7 and over 8,000 more passing yards with 4,438 and scored 10 more touchdowns. Sticking with the offense, but still with the rookies, the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year nominees are Brock Purdy, quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, Kenneth Walker III, running back of the Seattle Seahawks, and Garrett Wilson, wide receiver for the New York Jets. Now, as much as we admire his bravery and efficiency, we must eliminate Brock Purdy from contention because he only played in 9 games, and 5 of those were as a starter, so he should not be on this list just due to the sample size. The other 2 are worthy contenders. Kenneth Walker III gained over 1,000 rushing yards this season from 15 games, scoring 9 touchdowns in the process, and Garrett Wilson had over 1,100 receiving yards from 147 targets, scoring 4 touchdowns. But to us, the wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints, Chris Olave, should be on this list and might also be the deserving player to receive this award. Both Wilson and Olave suffered by having not so good quarterbacks, but Olave always found a way to get in the end zone or gain major yardage. His electric play and all-around catching skills, which were better than Wilson's by 4%, were a sight that dazzled an otherwise mediocre Saints offense. Chris Olave was snubbed. He should have won, but considering his absence, the award should go to Garrett Wilson. So we're done with the rookies and now on to the veterans, with the AP Defensive Player of the Year. Nominees are Micah Parsons, the linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, Chris Jones, the defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Nick Bosa, the defensive end for the 49ers. All three are sack monsters, and Bosa does lead the league with 18.5 on the season. Chris Jones has 15.5 and Parsons has 13.5. Two players of note who were not mentioned are Myles Garrett, the defensive end of the Cleveland Browns, who had 16 sacks this season, and Hassan Reddick of the Philadelphia Eagles, who also had 16 sacks. So why weren't these names considered? I mean, surely Reddick must have been, given how well the Eagles were on defense this season. Reddick was snubbed, and Garrett should feel equally dissatisfied with the nominations list. But yeah, Nick Bosa is the clear winner here. Now on to the AP Offensive Player of the Year. There are 4 names on this list, 2 quarterbacks and 2 wide receivers. Jalen Hurts of the Eagles and Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs were alongside Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins and Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings. Jefferson had an outrageous year offensively, where he led the league in receptions with 128, led the league in receiving yards with 1,809, and had a catch completion percentage of 69.9%. Hurts had a total of 35 touchdowns on the season, and Mahomes had 45 touchdowns this season, with a career high of 5,250 passing yards. And Tyreek Hill? Well, he was second behind Jefferson in receptions and behind him in yards and touchdowns scored. So if we had to pick a snub, it would be someone from the running back category. The best running back this season was Austin Eckler, who was the offense for the Chargers, and he put up insane numbers, a total of 1,637 yards, both rushing and receiving, and topped it off with a total of 18 touchdowns. But if you were to pick a winner, it would have to be Mahomes, based on the numbers and his lack of supporting cast members. The AP Coach of the Year is next. There are 5 nominees. Brian Daboll led the Giants to the playoffs and picked up 9 wins. Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills had 13 wins. Doug Peterson of the Jacksonville Jaguars had 9 wins. And Kyle Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers with 13 wins. And Nick Sirianni of the Philadelphia Eagles with 14 wins and the best record in the NFC. So clearly the award should go to Sirianni, but if they hadn't snubbed our man Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions, he would have been the deserved winner. The Lions lost 6 of their first 7 games and went on to win 9 games against all expectations and nearly made it to the playoffs. Dan Campbell was snubbed and robbed. And finally, the AP Most Valuable Player, 5 names: Josh Allen of the Bills, Joe Burrow of the Bengals, Jalen Hurts of the Eagles, Justin Jefferson of the Vikings, and Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs. Now, if we're going based on stats and how valuable this individual is to the team, then you would have to give it to Mahomes. But that doesn't mean that Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, or anyone else on this list does not deserve a chance to be there. All worthy candidates. But there is a lack of defenders on this list, and if there is one man who has made an MVP-type performance, it is Nick Bosa of the 49ers. He is the heart of that team, had the second best record in the NFC despite all the quarterback injuries. Bosa may have been snubbed, but it doesn't matter because the voters will give it to Mahomes. So who do you think should win, and who are your picks? Please let us know in the comments down below, but before you go, if you still want to watch some awesome NFL content like this, go ahead and watch that next video that will pop on your screen.